As you might have already gathered, PsycINFO has a lot to offer, but that can make it pretty complicated. In earlier sections, I focused on the basics so that you'd be comfortable accessing the database and using it to find specific references. But what if you don't have a specific reference and want to find information about your topic? PsycINFO can definitely help you there, too. Before I talk about searching for articles, I want to detour briefly to explain what PsycINFO is, so to speak, and why I specifically use the term PsycINFO instead of saying EBSCO. The short answer to the question in the slide is no, EBSCO is not another name for PsycINFO. Did you by any chance try to use Google to get to PsycINFO, thinking it would be easier than going through the steps I gave you earlier? The result may have been a little more complicated than expected, but can help in understanding what PsycINFO is. I think I've used the term database when talking about PsycINFO, and that's what it is, an organized collection of data. That collection is curated and managed by the American Psychological Association. They only manage the information, though. There are companies that create the interface to actually access the data. That's what EBSCOhost does, buy the access to the data, and then Northwest contracts with them to provide us with a way to access it. There are other companies that have different interfaces, though. That's why we see Google results for ProQuest. So why do I mention this? First, because it helps explain why we have to go through the route we do to get to PsycINFO. If we didn't have the access through Northwest, we would have to pay for access through another vendor. Second, if you are at a school who uses ProQuest to access PsycINFO and go looking for EBSCO, it could create some confusion. Now, back to the regularly scheduled program. In the previous unit, we focused on the title and author options in the drop-down menu, but there are obviously several other options there. The video from the APA that is linked with this section explains how to use subject searches. One thing to note in relation to that is that PsycINFO will not work like Google. We can't type in a phrase and, as you may have already discovered, it will not ask if we meant to spell something in a different way. That said, the interface does use what's called the Boolean search system. That's what the drop-down boxes to the left of the text boxes are for. So we could stick with the title search, put stress in the first box, leave and in the drop-down menu, and then put college in the second box. That will give us a list of articles that have the words stress and college in the title. Using not can be helpful when searching for stress so that we eliminate results about trauma. There are a lot of publications about post-traumatic stress disorder that would be included if we just search for stress. The Boolean search also includes allows for what we call a wildcard. If there are variations on a word, we can type in the first common letters and then add an asterisk immediately after the last letter. That will search for all of the related words. Here is an example of combining a few ideas related to Boolean searches, and a reminder why we want to continue thinking about focusing and limiting our searches. Taking out results related to trauma, mice, and rats did take out about 10,000 results, but if we just use stress in the title, we still have more than 46,000 results. You might have noticed that the search options include a checkbox to limit results to those that can be linked to full text. That can be a helpful option, but can also lead us astray. It can be helpful for projects like ours when we have a fairly limited scope and limited time. It obviously allows for instant access. But, as you may have gathered from the fact I explained how to find the full text, it's not always available, and sometimes it's available but not in a way that's recognized by this limiter. Those are the ones that we could find using the article linker, or the DOI. So, limiting to full text may prevent us from finding important articles that are not linked through PsycINFO for one reason or another. If we need a comprehensive perspective, it's better not to limit and seek out the articles. Even if we don't have access through any means, they may be in paper form and our library can obtain copies of some articles on our behalf. There are three other helpful limiters toward the bottom of the screen. Limiting to English and more recent publications is probably pretty straightforward. The option at the top left, scholarly peer-reviewed journals, takes out results that are not scholarly and not in journals, so you won't have the results from books. On a practical note, the takeaway message is that we can use a subject search, but may continue with title searches and use the Boolean features with limiters to make it more efficient. Big picture, knowing that the information we're searching has been curated by the American Psychological Association can help increase our confidence that the results will be credible. In some cases, finding one good article helps us locate a wealth of information. When we click on the name of an article, we can access what's called the detailed record. That can help us find similar articles. First, notice that the authors' names are hyperlinks, because authors may have more than one publication about the same topic. In fact, we're encouraged to have multiple publications on the same topic. Second, notice the link in this entry labeled Cited References. Not all entries have this link, but if it's there, it'll take you to a list of the articles they've cited, which will obviously be on a related topic. If they're available in full text, that's easy to access from the Cited References list. The box labeled Find Similar Results seems like it'd be the most helpful, but I've rarely found it to be very efficient. It just conducts a massive Boolean search on the title. If we scroll down a little bit farther in the record, we see the list of subjects related to the article. There are also hyperlinks that will take us to related results. As a side note, you might also see the section labeled Tests and Measures. That can be a great resource when we're searching for measures.